Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something wild, how a totally mundane, everyday household object accidentally kicked off a massive global health crisis. I'm talking about the humble light switch. We literally flick it dozens of times a day, right? Without even a second thought. But today, we're going to see how that tiny, simple motion actually rewired human biology. Let's start by looking at things a little differently. What if the most dangerous technology in your home is just a simple switch on the wall? I know, usually we point the finger at our smartphones or social media when we talk about modern disruptions. But to really get to the bottom of our current sleep epidemic, we actually need to rewind all the way back to 1884. We're talking about an English engineer named John Henry Holmes and a brilliant invention that, completely by accident, became a massive biological disruptor. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the death of natural sleep. We can actually trace this rapid disruption perfectly. Back in 1882, Thomas Edison fired up the Pearl Street generating station in New York. That proved electric light was viable. But here's the catch. Early electric lighting was pretty dangerous. It was super prone to sparking. That is, until 1884, when John Henry Holmes patented the quick break switch. His brilliantly simple toggle mechanism made turning on a light totally safe and completely effortless. Overnight, lighting was democratized. Fast forward to the 2000s, and bam, we hit the modern LED revolution. So what started as just a safe way to read a book after dark has exploded into these brightly lit 24/7 modern environments that literally never sleep. And man, this rapid transition really cost us our natural rhythm. Historian A. Roger Ickerch dug up over 500 historical references showing that before artificial light, humans actually slept in 2 shifts. It was a natural biphasic pattern. You'd have this first sleep right after dusk, then you'd wake up for an hour or 2 around midnight for a watch, which people used for reading, reflecting, or just socializing, and then you'd go back down for a second sleep. But artificial light, it pushed our bedtimes later and later, essentially compressing that natural segmented pattern into the single, unnatural 7 to 8 hour monophasic block that we're constantly stressing about hitting today. Moving right along to Section 2, your brain on artificial light. Let's see what's happening under the hood. The absolutely crucial thing to understand here is the concept of a Zeitgeber. It's a German word, and it translates literally to time giver. For our entire evolutionary history, natural light was our primary Zeitgeber. It was the absolute main signal our brain used to know when to be alert and when to rest, perfectly synchronizing our internal clock to the 24-hour solar day. So think about it. When you flip that switch on at 10 p.m., you are literally giving your brain the wrong time. Let's break down the 2017 Nobel Prize-winning science on this, because it shows exactly how this biological hijack happens in 3 simple steps. Step 1, intrinsically photosensitive cells in your eye detect blue light, specifically right there in the 460 to 500 nanometer range. Step 2, those cells send an immediate, hey, it's daytime, signal straight to the master clock in your brain, the suprachiasmatic nucleus. And then step 3, that master clock slams on the brakes, instantly blocking the production of melatonin. And as we know, melatonin is the hormone of darkness. But here is why that is so incredibly alarming. Artificial light at night, or ALAN, as researchers call it, effectively removes a protective antioxidant, oncostatic, and anti-inflammatory molecule right out of our bodies. So suppressing your melatonin doesn't just ruin your sleep architecture and fragment your deep sleep. No, it literally strips away your systemic health protections against chronic diseases. Which brings us to Section 3, the cost of lost sleep. $411 billion. Yeah, billion with a B. This massive number is exactly what the Rand Corporation estimates sleep deprivation costs the US economy every single year. Just let that sink in for a second. It's an astronomical figure. It's equivalent to over 2% of the entire country's GDP, just vanished into thin air, all because we aren't resting properly. And look, this isn't just an American issue. It's a global catastrophe. The UK is losing over $41 billion annually, and France is down over $36 billion. A huge driver of this immense strain is something called presenteeism. That's when tired employees are physically sitting at their desks, but they're functioning at severely reduced cognitive capacity. I mean, they're physically there, but their sleep-deprived brains are a million miles away. And the data totally backs this up. The CDC reveals that nearly a third of all American adults, 30.5%, fail to get the recommended minimum of 7 hours of sleep per night. What's more, only about 55% actually wake up feeling well rested. We are quite literally attempting to operate a modern, high-functioning society on critically empty batteries. But the stakes go way, way beyond just morning grogginess. The International Agency for Research on Cancer has officially classified shift work involving circadian disruption as a Group 2A probable carcinogen. Let me repeat that, a probable carcinogen. The lack of natural sleep and prolonged exposure to artificial light at night is now officially linked in the scientific literature to some really serious health risks, including cancer.
Okay, let's move into section 4, the LED double-edged sword.
When you compare melatonin suppression values across different light sources, it uncovers this fascinating paradox. You know those old, incredibly energy-inefficient incandescent bulbs? They actually had the lowest impact on our biology because they naturally cast a warm, red, heavy light. But the highly efficient, cool LEDs we use today, they spike right in that dangerous blue light range, meaning they are super disruptive to our biology. They produce melatonin suppression values that are comparable to, ironically enough, staring directly at a bright blue-lit smartphone screen, which honestly, you might be using to watch this explainer right now. But hey, there is some really good news hidden in the technology here. Simply switching to warm, fixed LEDs offers a massive 3.4-fold reduction in melatonin suppression compared to the cool ones. So this proves that while we absolutely traded our biological health for energy efficiency initially, we really don't have to suffer for it. Just tuning our LEDs to warmer color temperatures can dramatically mitigate the biological damage.
And finally, section 5, reclaiming the night. Let's talk solutions.
Back in 2019, the Manchester Workshop brought together a bunch of experts to give us clear, human-centric lighting guidelines so we could finally align artificial light with our evolutionary needs. During the day, you want a minimum of 250 lux to promote alertness and really set your biological clock. But when it comes to the evening, you want a maximum of 10 lux, starting 3 hours before bed to preserve that crucial melatonin. And at night, near darkness to maintain your sleep. The goal here is that we need to actively mimic the sun's natural cycle indoors. So, how do we actually do this in the real world? Well, here are the key light hygiene habits you can take away from this explainer and start using today. First, maximize your morning daylight exposure to anchor your clock. Second, use warm lighting, specifically under 2700 Kelvin in the evening. Third, actively dim those lights 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. Fourth, maintain consistent sleep and wake times, and yes, that means even on weekends. And finally, if you absolutely must scroll through your phone in bed, make sure you implement cyan-blocking screen filters. I'll leave you with this final thought to challenge your nightly routine. For well over a century, we've treated the light switch as a tool of total convenience, pretty much completely ignoring its profound biological impact. But armed with this science, you now have the power to change your environment and protect your health. So the question is, are you ready to flip the script on how you use the light switch tonight? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, here's to reclaiming your rest.